thanks, Jamie, for joining me today at FundForum.
That's a pleasure.
You shared a very impressive and interesting panel this morning with other CEOs in the mutual fund industry.
Right.
And I think that we are at a critical stage where there's a lot of questions regarding first euro, and I think I really like to have your perspective there. And also where we see flows going in terms of investments, new products and so on. What is your key challenge today as the CEO of Europe? What do you see as important?
I think the key issue with Europe right now is the political. It needs a political solution rather than a fiscal solution, which I think I mentioned earlier on. And that's the issue, I think, from a high level that needs to be resolved. And I don't think it's going to happen soon. With having a proposal for a common banking regulator as such, does that include all cross-border banks or local regional banks? Does it include the EU zone or the wider area? So I think from a top-down perspective, what I would like to see is a political resolution, but I don't think that's going to come in the short term. From putting now closer to the business situation, what we have seen in Europe is investors increasingly looking outside of Europe for their investment needs.
Okay.
So, whilst we have European equity and European fixed income products, we haven't seen flows into those for some time now. What we are seeing is a demand for yield.
Okay.
We are seeing increasing demand for outcome-oriented products.
Okay.
And we can't ignore the growth in what I call globalization and the demand for global solutions. So global fixed income that can include sometimes emerging market debt to create the income yield that people need.
Okay.
We are seeing strong interest still in emerging market products, both from an investment story, emerging markets as an area, and that's both equity and fixed income, and then also the rise of the consumer and the middle classes as well, particularly in Asia and Latin America. Remembering that if you look at some of the global businesses or businesses headquartered in the US, like Nike and Apple, over 60% of their revenues come from outside of the US, and Europe is similar in many ways.
Okay, so one of your challenge, I guess, is to actually try to have the right product at the right time. So it's really a timing issue. How do you deal with that? Because I imagine you have all your range of products and you already need to think about the next one coming. What's the process there?
I think if you look at our business in Europe, it is having the right products that clients want and what investors want. But it's more than that when it comes to then the distribution side, because it's no good having the right product if you haven't got the right people and the right service network set up at the country level. And our philosophy over the years has been, when we go into a country, and we've been in Europe now for 10, 15 years plus in many, is to build the house rather than pitch the tent, if I can use that comparison.
Oh, right. Okay.
So we like to put down strong foundations, build relationships, and then Franklin Templeton Investments, with its diverse product range, we know that at any given time in a market cycle, people are going to look for different needs. So we have now, I think for many years, using the phrase that came out this morning, been a manufacturer of quality component parts which people use in portfolio construction. What we're now seeing is how important brand is in fund selection, let's say, and we are having clients ask us if we can now assemble the product. So the solution. No, don't just provide the component parts. Can you provide a solution to this objective? And I expect that demand to grow over the sort of short to medium term, particularly.
Yeah, that's something that is definitely growing in terms of moving from just proposing something a fund to offering an investment solution.
I think so, and then it's when you look at transparency, increased desire for communication, and how people are reacting to short-term news. We always used to say, and I think it's true, you should take a long-term view when investing in markets. I think that's true, but we have to be able to explain and manage expectations of investors, and I think it's important for the industry as a whole to get that transparency of communication and expectations right, because markets will be volatile, and it's explaining that to clients.
And I guess as well, the challenge is that sometimes investors don't know what they want precisely. They're probably also expecting from you some sort of I
think so, and I think that ties in a little bit with the demand for outcome-oriented products.
All right.
if you look at, say, the UK and RDR, I think what you'll see there is, financial advisors, particularly concentrating on, clients' aims and objectives and risk appetite.
Yeah.
And that's a big discussion in itself. How do you define risk? Because it's different for each person. Should risk be a time horizon or based on your total, asset breakdown and so on? But I think understanding clients' risks and needs, be they income, capital security, building growth for the future, retirement income, I think that's the critical thing, is that understanding and then matching products to those needs.
Is the UK your biggest market as of today? Or?
No, in Europe for us, our two biggest markets are Italy and Germany in terms of assets.
Oh, right, okay.
The UK, and that's a good example, again, which we touched on this a little bit this morning.
Okay.
In fact, yesterday as well at the Distribution Summit. The UK has historically had a very domestic bias towards investing, both from an equity and a fixed income perspective. And up until our most recent acquisition of Rensburg Fund Management, which became part of Franklin Templeton, we didn't have that core UK equity product for UK investors.
Okay.
So we've been, I think, a very successful provider of offshore funds, whether it's emerging markets, global fixed income products, to the UK market. But it's only recently that we've now added core domestic product, and we are seeing, strong demand there, given the expertise that came into the group following that acquisition.
Well, many thanks for sharing with us
Pleasure.
all those insights. I think that I can understand that you're quite busy at that time.
It's a busy time. I'm looking forward to the rest of the sessions today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.